I remember only snatches of what transpired.
Tortured scrawlings on the backs of drawing boards, final words to loved ones and the world at large, as though inscribed by trapped miners in one of those countries I cannot locate nor care to learn about. The visions are becoming less easily stymied by scotch with each passing day. For better or worse, I transcribe these events in my journal. Events of what I can now only call the punishment.
Day 1. It has recently come to my attention that Friday night, although I do not recall there being a night prior to this, I partook of activities that some might label inappropriate, people not unlike my course director, Dr. Glassheart, the result of which is that I've been assigned 1 month's cleaning detail in a part of the school he referred to as the art studios. Although unable to speak due to a sore throat of mysterious origin, I was able to demonstrate my displeasure via American Sign Language. Day 2. After locating a map of the school, I was surprised to find that a significant portion of the campus had been allocated towards the arts. The hallways were strangely decorated in what can only be described as the scribblings of a drowsy child. Largely unfinished and generally quite unappealing, I nevertheless concluded that these were likely made by the students themselves. I located what I hesitate to call my superior, a tall simian man likely fed on Lipton sidekicks and microwavable bacon, and was shown the cleaning supplies, although much of my surroundings forced me to question whether or not they'd ever been used. Note: although classes are over for the day, there's an alarming number of these students lingering about in the studios. Consider purchasing personal respirator. Day 5. As my first week of this torture comes to a close, and I have seen many of what I suppose for the sake of brevity I shall call artists, I have come to notice that I am actually developing an ability to distinguish one from the other. What was once a colorful, hairy mass of trolls is now small pockets of individuals. Whether this is a new ability of mine, or the onset of hallucination, I cannot yet say. Note: egg Dr. Glassheart's car. Day 12. While taking a break from scouring the wash basins of dried paint to discard some of the artist's works that they had left behind to dry, I stumbled upon some kind of ritual. Several of them were huddled around what looked to be an outmoded medical device, including the ones I named Coco and Forehead. I watched as they gorged themselves on what I generously call food. Were they not aware that they were disgusting? I momentarily contemplated informing them before remembering that they lacked the ability to speak. It occurred to me that it was likely many of them were mating with each other. A wave of nausea came over me. On the way home, made threatening glances at one of the smaller regulars. Felt much better. Tonight's dinner: free-range organic grain-fed chicken breast on a bed of locally grown spinach. Day 14. While enjoying a cigarette, I stared into the applied arts wing, observing the goblins toiling within, crafting ugly fabrics for impractical furniture. Impractical furniture that no one will buy and will occupy space in a relative's basement for years to come. I furrowed my brow and willed the building to burst into flames, but was unsuccessful. Looking around, I then noticed Forehead and 2 others, apparently fresh from murdering several unicorns, and was shocked to find that they were attempting speech. Clearly requesting a lighter, I found myself complying, unable to be sure if I was imagining the whole thing. I woke this morning after what appears to have been a night of dry heaving. Breakfast was going to be a tall, skinny free trade decaf, but as it was improperly prepared, I simply ate a protein bar. Day 21. Aware that Chips was having some people over tonight, I asked Braden if he'd like to stop by Lavish and Squalor for their price-raising reverse sales event. He informed me that he was having difficulty understanding me and made disparaging remarks about cavorting with visual arts trash. After explaining to security why I punched him in the face, we agreed to let the matter drop. Personal reminder: hit on Braden's girlfriend. Day 28. I am almost at a loss for words. While heading to the third-year room, I had the distinct impression I was being watched. Putting the matter behind me, I ventured in and was overcome with horror at what appeared to have been a nest or breeding ground. Hundreds of eyes from dozens of meaningless, self-indulgent, half-finished paintings stared back at me. The sickly sweet stench of decay was all around, and I saw it, then, on the ground. A dead body. Or dead if we round to the nearest hole. Anyway, clearly starved, the shadow of a human gasped for air as it gulped down thin tea through black teeth that sat beneath glossy, sunken eyes. It did not appear to notice me, perhaps unable to accurately perceive reality any longer. I staggered backward out of the class, my duties unfulfilled. All I can say for certain of these artists, to call them human would be generous, but I have learned something in my time in their world. I now know, for certain, that there are greater forces at work in the universe, and they are angry at us. And so I made haste to the school pub, for immediate memory erasure. Continued unabated until last call, and awoke to a message from Dr. Glassheart, who would like a word with me about the previous night.